Hello, folks. I hope you're all great and doing well. Welcome back to my channel. And I know it's been a while since I posted. I think it's almost a year since I posted my last video. And I apologize for the delay. And it's just because I had some commitments in my educations and my studies in the university. So I hope you all understand. And today I'll be sharing you about the I'm going to finish the chapter 1 business activity of IGCSE in the Grindhard series. This is the episode 2. So stay tuned as we're gonna discuss about the opportunity cost, the division of labor, specialization and added value in this video. So stay tuned and let's get into the intro of that. So guys, last video in the Grindhard series of the episode 1, the chapter 1, I think I finished talking about the needs and wants and the economic problem. So as we discuss about the economic problem, the key thing is that we need unlimited wants. Like there is unlimited wants and there are limited resources which lead to the scarcity, which is called as the economic problem. So when there is limited resources, you need to choose. So you have choices and decisions that you need to make every day as there are limited resources. So as you make the choices on your everyday life, that's basically what opportunity cost is. So if you want to see the definition of opportunity cost in the textbook, it just says that opportunity cost is the next best alternative given up by choosing another item. So in a basic and a very simple term, you could say opportunity cost is like that you sacrifice an option in order to gain another option that is more valuable and is more needed in the situation. Let me give you an example. First, let me talk about in the personal, like an individual perspective. So a person has finished his exams and he's earned a lot and he wants to spend on something. So he has two options. One is to take a week of holiday in abroad or foreign, go anywhere. Another option is to buy a new car. So the individual needs to choose anything. If he buys holiday, then the car becomes the opportunity cost. But if he chooses the car, then the holiday becomes the opportunity cost. So the next best alternative that is forgone is basically what is opportunity cost. So let me talk about the business perspective. In the business perspective, let's say a manufacturing company sees machine A and machine B, and if he chooses machine A over machine B, then the machine B becomes the opportunity cost as he chose the machine A. So whichever is efficient and whichever is suitable in the situation they choose is basically called as opportunity cost. That's the simplest definition you can use. Another main thing, guys, in the exam, just note this point. I need you guys to take notes. If you don't take notes, I don't think you will get an A star. You can easily pass, that's for sure, but you can't get an A star. If you want an A star, when there's a key, there's 100% there's like I think 80% chance that there's a key term definition that might arise on opportunity cost. As you need to, when you write the notes, right, you write the whole definition and underline in a red ink or a flashy color like the next best alternative. That's the main key item. The other words you can maybe use a synonym, but for the next best alternative you can't use anything else. Let's say if you say opportunity cost is something that you give up or something that is gone or sacrificed by choosing another item, you might not, the examiner might not give you the whole mark. Maybe your school examiner might, but in the main board exam, the IGCSE examiner might not. So be cautious of that. So that's the first topic. Let's get into specialization next. Okay, so the textbook briefly says in the key definition part that specialization occurs when people and businesses concentrate on what they are best at. So in simple terms, you could say, I think that is much more simpler in definition as well, as it's IGCSE. If you go to A level, the definition might be very complex and shit. But now I think specialization is like, as what they say, like in a very simple term, you could say the thing that you are really great at, the thing that you crack, you're awesome, you're amazing, you know that you are the best. Let's say a simple example, that your friend is really good at art craft painting, and then you are really good at sports, football, basketball, rugby, badminton, what else, you are specializing at that area. So you specialize at sports, whereas your friend specializes at painting, and maybe another friend might specialize in education and like all the educational stuff and quizzes and shit. So that's basically specialization in simple terms. In business perspective, specialization is mostly used in like the term of like splitting labor or jobs. So let's say it's like very common in business terms, because specialized machinery and technology are now like widely available in most of the companies. Because let's say there's a technology from 2000s and there's a technology from 2020. So the 2020 technology can specialize in certain areas, whereas in the 2000s made technology can only specialize in like a certain amount of places where it can't reach other. So I think you might not get exactly what I'm saying. To make it more simpler, you could say, in let's say let's say you divide jobs, right? So let's say there is every person, okay, let's just take the basic perspective. In a human being, right, we have both weaknesses and strengths. So when there's a group of friends, let's say they're all going for a camp, and then, so for example, to make a camp you need fire, you need someone to make the shelter, you need someone to make the food, and you need someone to make all the arrangements like the chair, the all the furniture stuff. Let's say friend A is good at cooking, so he does cooking because that's his strength, so he specializes in it, you understand? So he specializes, which is his strength that he focuses on. If friend B, who's good at like making the furniture and arranging, will do the cooking, it will be a mess. It will confuse the others, and there will be a confusion. That's basically what specializing is, guys. So next up, let's just talk about the division of labor, which is basically the similar thing. Like specialization and division of labor go in together. Like they are like counterparts, not exactly counterparts. Like they work together. Division of labor is basically, as the textbook states, is when the production process is split up into different tasks and each worker performs one of these tasks. It's a form of specialization. So it uses a specialization to divide labors into different tasks and jobs. So let's say in a hotel, right? Let's say whatever famous hotel like Sterling Hotel or any other big hotel, right? So there will be like main people like the receptionist, the GM, general manager, and then let's say the waiter of a restaurant, and then there are many other people. So they all divide tasks, so each one have each task. So the receptionist has just one task to receive the guest and make them the reservation, and then the general manager will assign the receptionist other jobs, whereas there are different jobs for different people. So that's basically is division of labor. You divide the labor, into like several categories to make it easier and work. Like as I just said now, let's take the camp as the same example to be the as simple as possible, guys. So I said the person A, the friend A is good at, let's say he's good at the camping, like he's good at making food, and friend B is good at making the furniture, friend C is good at making the tent, and then friend D is good at, maybe what else is there, he's just good at something. Okay, so let's just keep these three. So these three have divided the tasks, so they each of them do what they specialize in. So that's basically what division of labor is. You take that and like imagine maybe your father's business, or some, maybe ask your father or maybe your mother who's working, right? Maybe ask them about like how do you how do you divide your tasks with your colleagues and how it is. So they will explain to you in the real terms. You can understand it way better. I'm telling you guys, if you ask your parents about the business stuff, it's the most easiest and life experience thing. So like it's like the experience that they have is nothing compared to the theory part. So if you get the stories and everything, it might sound boring at start if they keep on yapping, right? I know it, guys, but it's really good if you understand it deep. Maybe for IGCSE it's not that you need to understand it 100%, but like the analysis part in A levels, if you take after that, is really important, guys. So be sure of just have a convo with your parents on the business stuff and ask some doubts. Don't ever be shy to ask your parents, guys. Come on. Yeah, that would be my advice though. Okay, so that's specialization and division of labor, guys. So next topic would be it's the value added. Let's go. Okay, so the added value or the add value, whatever you call it, or you can also call it value added. So in basic definition from the textbook, it says added value is a difference between the selling price of a product and the cost of bought in materials and components. So in accounts and economics or other like higher levels of A levels and business stuff, we call cost of bought in materials as cost of goods sold. So when your teacher or lecturer or professor, however you call them, if they mention cost of goods sold, I think it should be the similar thing as the cost of bought in materials. Okay guys, so in the example that the textbook is giving is that there's a selling price of a newly built house, so for $100, and then there's a value of bought in bricks, cement, wood and other materials, which is $15,000. That is the cost of goods sold, or you could say cost of bought in materials as the textbook states, blah blah. Yeah, the added value of the building firm was $85,000. As you subtract $100,000 minus the $15,000, you basically get $85,000, right? So that is the added value. So this is not all profit. Out of this, the builder must pay wages and other costs too. This is what the textbook is saying, guys. So this is not my example, so don't blame me if you don't understand. So just like if you want to understand like this, I haven't encountered this in many questions in the past papers, but like it might come when it's like very sudden out of the blue, they might ask this. So like just to be sure, just understand it. So to be simple and to understand in simple terms, I will just say added value is like before you get a profit, right? It's basically a revenue, guys. So added value is when like before you cut out all the other expenses other than the cost of goods sold, the value that the business value that you get just from cutting out the cost of goods sold or bought in materials, that is added value. You don't include the wages that you give to your employees or the laborers. You just keep it, you just like don't show that. That's just added value. If you cut out all the wages and other costs like expenses of the materials, or like materials is in, but like just let's say the agent and then the labor and then the transport goods, these are all other expenses that might come. If you cut out these, then you get a profit. But if you add them, if you don't exclude them, it remains as a revenue, or you say added value in the simpler term as it says. So that's basically added value, guys. If you have doubts, please comment down below. I'm so free right now, but I most probably will see and reply your messages, so feel free to ask, because I'm not a big YouTuber yet, so I'm not that busy of not ignoring your messages, guys. So just ask doubt. So that's about it, guys. We finished chapter 1. Yeah, let's get it, boys. Yeah, boys and girls. Sorry if girls are there. Sorry, I'm just like so used to saying boys. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So stay tuned for the next video, guys. Most probably it will be soon, so stay tuned and cheers, guys. See you in the next one.